All right. What up, perps? Good morning, everybody. Normally, you don't see my shining face this early unless we're streaming some congressional hearing or something like that. And yeah, I didn't drink all the coffee. I had to grab something cold to drink. Anyway, let's see who all we got in the chat so far. I know we had Oscar Mike in. Good morning, brother. Brother Warsaw checked in. Colt, how's it going, my brother? Got Sister California Ford. Brother Man Scoop from Alabama checking in. Blue Curtain Burner, my brother. What's happening? And then we got Run Gun. What's happening, Run? So, let me check. This is, let me get rid of something real quick. Actually, a couple of somethings. Because as usual, I've got 900 damn tabs open. So this is something, Gizzard Gary, what's up, brother? So this is something that came up, and we're going to watch a clip of it in a hearing about the ATF. It's been a few months ago. I'd have to check the exact date on this hearing. Hold on. I should have it. So this was 2 months ago, 5/23. So yeah, a little over 2 months ago, I guess. But it came up in this hearing that, and the only guy who's ever asked about this asked about the ATF's use of AI to basically manage data for the ATF. And I really think that's one of the ways that they are getting so many FFLs on basic paperwork violations and trying to put them out of business. So this AI system, and we're going to look at part of this morning, then we'll just hang out. But this AI system that they're using is called Spartan. And the tech guys probably know way more, or definitely know way more about how this would work than I do. But we're going to look at some of the information on Spartan, because I really think that this is part of the way the ATF is ramping everything up and putting so many FFLs out of business right now for just bullshit, abbreviating a state or some shit like that. I think this program is flagging them. Kurt, what's going on, brother, man? Big Angry Phil's checking in, too. What's up, brother? Then we got the bearded guy. What's up? Shit, y'all all checking in this morning. Good deal. So let's get, if my freaking retarded connection will cooperate at least a little bit, let's watch this. Let's see. That's at 310. Let me back him up a little bit, and it'll kind of give everybody a refresher on where this was going. Because this was part of one of the oversight hearings for the good old ATF. So let's see whether we can get this to run half-ass smooth. Give everybody a little bit of a refresher because it's been 2 months. Of course, this hearing was with good old Stephen Doodlebach.
Southern border, that's for DHS, Congresswoman.
You don't care about crime in this country if you're not trying to address what's going on at the southern border.
Respectfully, I deeply disagree. I think it's very unfair.
Little ladies, time has expired. The gentleman from South Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. Director, here's what I find troubling. In 2021, there were 5 FFL licenses that were revoked. In 2023, that number has jumped to 157, I believe. It's a dramatic increase in the
Doodlebach's still there, man.
On this side, a very stark indicator of the Biden administration's aggressive overreach.
Doodlebach's still living the dream.
What's worse, an increasing number of firearms dealers faced with severe and often disproportionate consequences for minor clerical errors have elected to shut down their operations rather than endure the extensive and costly process of defending their practice. This is like David versus Goliath, except Goliath, the U.S. government, wins because
They
all
have
the
all of our tax
resources are
dollars.
there, and you have a small business trying to defend themselves against the insurmountable resources of a federal government. Let's take a look at the number of voluntary business closures post-inspection over the last couple of years. In 2021, there were 24. 2022, 69, and 2023, there were 80. This is a result of ATF's zero tolerance policy, and quite frankly, a very concerning trajectory of ATF. This is all occurring under the guise of public safety, but ATF is essentially working to dismantle a very lawful firearm industry. Let me ask you something, and this was talked about earlier. Where can I find authorization from Congress that you would revoke somebody's FFL for a minor clerical error? Where is that in the statute?
The statute and the policy and our implementation deals with willful violations. And by the way, it limits them further to violations that endanger public safety. The vast majority, one thing I think we agree following the rules.
Correct.
They're law-abiding businesses. That's why over 98, almost 99%
Sorry,
of
guys,
our
this is getting
inspections do
choppy.
not
I'm sitting
result
here
in
trying to-
revocation. There's due process. People can request a hearing. In the hearings, Congressman, that we conduct, these are administrative hearings at ATF. Half the time, we decide not to revoke because of something that the FFL presents to us. People have lawyers at some of those. They don't have lawyers at others. And in many cases, we work with FFLs to try and cure any defects, if they're clerical defects, to make the FFL stronger in terms of a target for people who, not the FFLs doing something illegal, but others are taking advantage of weak controls. And that can be a public safety threat as well, as you know. Even a law-abiding FFL, if they're not careful, can be taken advantage of by straw purchasers.
Director, here's my concern, and I know we've got limited time, and I'm
Sorry.
certainly respectful of yours. The BSCA was passed in 2022. Based on that, you have there's been a slight modification to the rule that, quote, even a single transaction or offer to engage in a transaction.
He gets to the whole AI thing here in a minute.
May be sufficient to require a license as an FFL. And so you are inferring from that, and again, I think this is where the minor clerical errors come in. Congress has made no law to this. There is a 2022 amendment, but I think you have largely ignored another statute, 18 U.S.C. 921A21. Are you familiar with that statute?
Because they said they aren't supposed to be in possession of an
I
unserialized
respond-
firearm. What the hell, Ron?
What does that statute?
I believe it's a provision you're talking about for importers, which is a provision that you're referring to.
Says that the term engaged in business
Okay, so the
shall
engagement.
not include a person that makes occasional sales, exchanges, or
Right.
purchases of firearms for the enhancement of a personal collection or a hobby, or who sells all or part of their personal collection or firearms.
That's quoted in the rule.
Correct. The concern that I have, though, is that that's not the application by ATF. That you're taking a very heavy-handed approach. And again, you have to look at the disproportionality of this.
And if you guys remember Malinowski, the guy the ATF murdered,
You're creating these
remember his
rules
wife was in the
beyond
audience
scope of what
for
Congress
this.
has implied or directed, and you are using this to kind of target people. And again, I'm not talking about the bad actors. I'm talking about lawful businesses who are trying to do the right thing and have minor clerical errors. Let me ask you something real quick.
Jason, what's up, brother?
Could you describe Spartan? What is Spartan?
Spartan is the name of the general case management system that exists at ATF. It replaced an older system. The system had been in service for many, many years. It was no longer supported, I think, anymore by the technology out there. So we replaced it with the new case management system.
So ATF administrative investigators are tasked with determining whether an willfully did anything. And according to a recent ATF revocation hearing, whether, quote, in preparing the
Getting ready to move, brother? Good deal.
The issue of willfulness even a factor, end quote. The ATF director responded, I input data and Spartan does the figuring. So are we allowing AI to determine whether or not something is willful?
I'm
or
so
not?
glad you're at. Absolutely not.
Yes, they are.
People, human beings review all of these things at supervisory levels. You cannot revoke somebody without
The gentleman.
several.
What up, brother
Time
Agarizer?
of the gentleman is expired. Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Texas, recognized.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're almost done, sir.
Should we listen? I will kill that. So, Sorry if that was a little low. But anyway, it was good enough to get kind of the feel for what he was talking about with the hearing, right? Hopefully everybody got to hear him talk about AI as a case management system. Now, the more I look at Spartan, and I've just started really digging into this and started playing around with it. I just wanted to share this with everybody. The more I look into Spartan, the more I think that this is part of the system they're using. One, to of course put FFLs out of business, but two, when he says, well, we don't have the way to scan or a way to search all these PDFs that we're keeping, they actually do. They don't need the search function under the PDF because Spartan has that search function built into it to optically be able to search documents. And I'll show you guys. Let's see. Is it? And again, guys, this is preliminary research, but I'm sharing it with you guys because I haven't heard anybody really talking about this. I think this is the tab. Yep, this is it. And I threw all these links for the documents and stuff and for this website into the description of the video because some of you tech heads out there could probably roll through this and tell me whether I'm headed in the right direction, the wrong direction, or whether I'm just crazy. We'll see. So, brief description of Spartan itself. So, look at this. So, no third-party software installs required, even for redacting, date stamping, document generation, and discovery. So they don't need installs from Adobe Acrobat and all this other stuff to be able to actually read these documents, search these documents, whole 9 yards. So users have full document management capabilities on any device, even without PDF, Word, or software installed. So they don't need the Adobe stuff to be able to search these documents, to scan these documents, to actually classify these documents. Best in class e-discovery. So Spartan's e-discovery portal, which basically a portal that allows all this information to be shared together, to view cases and download discovery with every step tracked. So, but here's another part about this, and I realize this is real surface stuff, but Spartan assessment functionality calculates case scores to assist officers in decision making, such as if a case is eligible for a diversion program. But that discovery, that assessment or case score, I think the ATF is using that to basically go through, take all of these FFLs, any simple mistakes that they're making, and put them out of business, to build the case against them. And you heard him talk in a hearing that about 50%, somewhere along the lines of that, of the FFLs that they actually try to revoke, basically win their cases. But not all of them have money to pay for lawyers and everything to come in and fight their cases. So I think it's probably, if you've got a lawyer, you've got a pretty good shot at keeping your FFL. But if you go there without a lawyer against the freaking government, you're pretty much assured that they're putting your ass out of business. And Spartan, the AI, is what they're using to help them do this. Adobe is more secure than Spartan. It very well could be. As far as this case management system and everything that they're using, how many FFLs have been revoked over minor typo error? Dude, it's been quite a few. I'd have to look up and see what the numbers are right now, but it's been a couple of hundred. Last time I was looking, it was 100 and something, or over 200, somewhere in that neighborhood. And they just keep going more and more and more and more. And it's all, most of the time, someone writes in a county instead of a country, or country instead of a county, or they abbreviate a state. Things like that. Transposing numbers. So they go to write down the serial number on a gun, and they're like me, they're dyslexic as fuck. So instead of writing down 24789, they write down 24798 or something like that. Very easy things to do. And there's a couple of different ways that FFLs can keep track of this stuff. So you'll have your A&D books, your acquisition and disposition books. So anything that comes into your FFL, you log into your FFL, and then when it leaves your FFL or it's transferred, then you log it out of your A&D books. You can keep those as bound books, physical copies. Now there are, and I can't remember whether I got it, still got it open in tab. There are computer programs you can use that the ATF actually has access to 24/7. And what they say is that the ATF, if you're using that, if you're part of this partner program with them, then say if you had a call for a trace, the ATF can just go in and look, search by a serial number through your books electronically and run the trace basically by themselves. So you wouldn't have to have a physical person running around looking through all these 4473s. Again, registry. 2023 ATF revoked 157 FFLs following an inspection, nearly twice as many. 88 license revoked in 2022. Well, funny enough, this is about the time they started bringing Spartan online, from what I understand. Now, let's see, what else was... Spartan's automation tools can auto-update case information, generate documents, schedule events, emails, and more. Predefined case tracks to ensure cases are being completed. Now, was underneath more features? This program, and I can't remember exactly where it's at in all this, this program will actually start building the case and give the legal justification for going after the FFL. And I can't remember how that was put. It's basically, I have to see whether I can find it because I don't want to misstate this. Let's see, was it in? Again, all these links are posted in the description, so you guys can dig through this too if you're interested in it. So just to run down through this part, document management system that enables users to record and store many different types of media, including Word documents, PDF, images, audio, and video. And this is all going to be searchable in this. But where is... It may have been in one of the other documents. Users can quick search via standard, quick search, advanced search, drill down in specific cases, parties. All right, let's see. Let me kill that one and let me look for... Oh yeah, there's definitely no fucking around when you're dealing with your acquisition and disposition books for an FFL. None. Couple people that I know with FFLs, yeah, there's zero playing around. To the point where We've seen them. I've seen them hire people to come in and manage stuff in the office, and within a day or two, they've got to fire them because they're not taking the bound book seriously. They don't realize how serious it is for the business itself. That if you screw up, running 4473s, that's the business's livelihood you're screwing with. And yeah, that's it. Oh God, if I can ever get mine, I've been dragging my feet getting mine, but definitely when I do, I'm going to be using bound books. I am not doing anything electronic with these assholes. I'll just have to work extra hard to make sure I'm not transposing numbers and stuff when I'm writing everything down for sure. When you're an FFL, do they have insurance and attorneys? Definitely insurance, depending on, well, I mean, that's going to be kind of business to business. Having an attorney on retainer wouldn't be a bad idea at all, but I don't know. Out of the few guys I've known with FFLs, I don't know anybody who has an attorney on retainer for anything like that. Certainly wouldn't be a bad idea with the way the ATF is using them. Have 3 people check the form. Yeah, for a bigger business, yeah. There's no doubt. Now, do they still have issues sometimes? Sure. Humans are human. One of the biggest things about some of the really large businesses, and it's another thing I'd have to dig into and really, really get into, is they've got a habit sometimes of actually losing a firearm. And there's nothing nefarious about them losing that firearm. But in a lot of cases, what they'll do is, instead of admitting, hey, we just lost this thing, they will actually turn it into stolen to kind of protect the business, because it's easy for them to report something stolen, get that rolling with the authorities, versus just eating it and being like, look, ATF, we've got a serial number here. We have no idea where this gun's actually at. Daniel defense lawsuit got dropped and tossed out by a judge. Nice. Let's see. Let's see if I can find the right document. And show you guys. I was up late last night reading this while I was watching Wiretite show. I was so not planning on being up that late, but I was watching his show and getting into this. This document is what they call a privacy impact assessment for Spartan. And this was done in May of 2019. So this is really before Spartan got off the ground. Let me see what I can find. Where exactly I was at in this document. Here, let me share this while I skim through it. I think it was this one. Yeah, this is the privacy statement. So just to show you guys, this was the ATF. This was their privacy impact assessment for Spartan. And then here they talk about basically the features of Spartan and how they're going to be used. And there were a couple of things that I read in here, and I really should do live or produce videos where I can edit out a lot of this shit, but welcome to my brain, and this is how I do research for stuff. So you guys are getting a little bit of a view and to some of the horse shit that occupies a hell of a lot of my damn time. Probably a lot more than it should, but let's see. So ATF Spartan customized system built using Pega. Yeah, they definitely peg you with it. All right, serving as a single solution business tool, state-of-the-art capabilities for criminal enforcement, industry operations, intelligence missions, where they're basically gathering everything to put an FFL out of business. Spartan user base expected to grow by approximately 4,900 industry operations investigators, special agents, intelligence research specialists by the end of fiscal year 2023. So I would not doubt this document was done in 19. They were expecting this to be over 4,900 industry operations investigators and research specialists involved with Spartan. I would have no doubt it's probably well over that at this point. Now the application is housed in the ATF Amazon Web Services Gov Cloud Federal Risk and Authorization Management Program. FedRAMP. Dude, they do love their freaking acronyms. Complete environment using infrastructure as a service. Spartan will automate process flows for tasking, report reviews, approvals, evidence management, and criminal intelligence analysis. There was part in here that talked about this program will actually put out the legal justification, but let's look at this real quick. So ATF prepared privacy impacts assessment for Spartan. ATF collects information in identifiable form about individuals during the course of an investigation. So, I mean, this is just where they're going through and actually doing all the collection of information. And this is PII gathered throughout the course of the investigation or inspections. So that's your inspection of the FFL. Are therefore implicated in Spartan. They can include, but not limited to, name, address, social security number of the user's, email address, and social media handles. So when we see some of this stuff happen online, they're basically admitting right here that they're collecting all your social media information. That's all going into Spartan. That's all trackable. What are you doing, boy? Hold on. Would you like something to drink? All right, give me just a sec. So they're basically in every damn thing that you're doing. Let's see. There was so much in these damn documents. And again, like I said, I should break this down and do produce videos, but this is kind of the welcome to the research and where my brain actually goes, kids. So ATF records management. This will increase accountability in regard to auditing, managing, and documenting probable cause for administratively seized property. Now, that's one of the things, again, and I'm trying to find it in here, but this program, this AI program, will put out a probable cause statement. Property seized. All right, hold on, wait. This is where part of it was at. So Spartan's auditing capabilities regarding the movement of property will now be contained in one system, and probable cause statements with legal justification for seizure of property will be linked directly to the property itself. That's not what I was looking for, but Spartan is deployed across the Bureau. The legacy application that they're looking at here is one that they're actually shutting down. Um, let's read that real fast. The Bureau, the legacy application will stand down for all new cases. So this is where they're talking about Spartans basically taking over, except for those from the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, the NICS system, will remain open only to facilitate Spartan's connection to Enforce. And guys could probably, especially you tech guys, could probably dig into that definitely more than I can. So your NICS system, as far as I know, is still getting run through the FBI. I know that was supposed to change. I don't know whether it has or not. So that legacy system is going to stay there, but now Spark can interact with that. And I think that's, again, where they're collecting a lot of this stuff as far as 4473s and actually getting this into searchable formats. Yes, District John Hamilton said plaintiffs. Only found one article from July 29th. Okay. And that's about the suits, right? All right, let's see. Let me skim down a little bit through here too. And then there's another document I'll show you guys. That's about their identification, how they're actually logging into the system. And again, I'm missing some of the stuff that I read early this morning, and this kind of gives you guys a little bit of a feel for what's going on with this. So Spartan is used by ATF Industry Operations Investigators, Joint Support and Operations Center, personnel to conduct the following functions. One of these is the actual application inspection. So when you apply for your FFL, guess what? Spartan's getting used for that now. So it's going to be used to track every damn thing. And remember, they're still involved with explosives. Suspicious activity reports to crime gun intelligence centers. Crime gun intelligence centers serve as intelligence hubs and coordination centers for local, state, federal response to mass shootings and other major crimes involving firearms. Any crime involving a firearm. So let's see. And yeah, man, I spent a lot of time reading all this shit last night. And some of this is just damn dry as a bone trying to read, but definitely, again, guys that are more tech savvy than me could probably tear into this stuff and really glean the information off of it. And as I read through more of it, I'll probably come up with more stuff that's just scary as fuck. This is about basically all the data this can be used to process. And there's some stuff in here that's just really freaking out there too. But I don't see. There were a couple things I wanted to drill down on, but I don't know, maybe I'm not awake enough, but all information is collected, part of an existing requested case data. I know it says it in here, and I'm probably missing it. Let me show you guys another one though. So Spartan will actually go through and help them collect all this data, help them track all this data. They don't need search functions from Java and all this other shit to be able to search documents anymore. That's all built into Spartan. So when Dettlebot gets up in front of everybody and says, well, we don't pay, or we're the only company that has to pay to have the search function taken off of PDFs and things like that. Well, he's not lying, but they're using Spartan to do it. So guess what? He's not lying, but he ain't telling you the whole truth either. I've been slow with posts. Yeah. Hey, our Patriot, what's up this morning, Elliot? What's going on, brother? Welcome to another one of those shows. Let me get through another document. Hell, I'll open up the floor, and anybody who wants to come in and shoot the breeze can come in and shoot the breeze. Now, this was another document I ran into. Screen share. I think it's this one. All right, recommendations. This is about Spartan. This was recommendations for future enhancements. And part of it was real quick in here. And they run through some statistics about the increased searches that they're having to do, which they're full of shit with a lot of this. This was about more of their trace stuff, about law enforcement agencies being able to kind of tailor their trace request. This was one of the things I wanted to hit on too. So privately made firearms is part of what they're trying to track in this system now. So this is all, again, involved in Spartan. It's recommended the ATF convene a cross-directorate working group to standardize the terminology used to define and describe firearms. Privately made firearms, industry information, relevant data items. Let's see. They'll also develop uniformity standards in data collection, storage, transfers. Where's that? There were a couple of parts in here that talk about privately made firearms, and that's they want anything as far as privately made firearms added into any kind of descriptions, parts, whatever, I guess, added into the system. And remember, they can store pictures, video, you name it. So I think they're tracking a lot of firearms purchases as far as slides and parts, and that's all going into this too. I can't remember how part of this was stated in here, but this is talking about this was talking about that same program or part of this program. So NTC Connect utilizes a secure web-based application through which authorized NTC personnel, when conducting crime gun trace, can send in a query by serial number only against an FFL's electronic firearms acquisition records to retrieve the corresponding disposition data if available. So this was part of that system I was talking about earlier, where an FFL can opt into doing their A&D books online in this system, and then the ATF can search all this stuff at will, which to me is pretty damn scary. Says the data remains the property of the FFL, not housed at the ATF, which is funny because they can still search it. Participation in the program is voluntary. I like how they try to sell this. Can reduce costs, FFL costs associated with maintaining personnel on staff to provide a response to NTC, the National Tracing Center gun crime trace request, crime gun trace request. There goes my dyslexia again. So at the same time, this program benefits NTC by providing immediate access to a participant's firearms data on a 24/7 basis, thereby allowing the operations to continue outside of normal business hours, leading to improved response times, to crime gun trace requests. Which, again, if I'm an FFL, there's no way I am partnering with the ATF on jack shit as far as my A&D stuff. Let's see, and this was more about the trace request, which sounds like Spartan's going to be a big part of that, or is a big part of it. Standard trace inquiry file to include complete description of the specific firearm being traced. Could be electronically generated and transmitted via NTC Connect API to participating FFL. Automatically compared to their electronic records. If a match was found, the disposition information for the trace firearm could be instantaneously transmitted back to NTC through the API. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Extend the retention of a handgun, multiple sales, purchaser information. So this is anytime you purchase more than one handgun from an FFL, even when it's just in a certain amount of time, they have to submit a paper to the ATF that says, look, this person bought, I don't know, if you're John Crump, 20-something guns from a couple of different FFLs in a very short amount of time. ATF gets all that information. So I'm still looking for the stuff on privately made firearms. It's in here. And I know I read it this morning, but they are trying to basically catalog everything with privately made firearms. Let's just for something cool, let's read this. So the median TTC, which is the time to crime for recovered crime guns associated with multiple sales transactions, was 2.1 years, reflecting that almost half were recovered after the current retention date. Statutes of limitations for charging most firearms violations are within 5 years of the date of the offense. So they're saying basically if a crime or gun was found to be used in a crime 5 years after purchase, then they can't really charge someone for trafficking, I guess. For some reason, firearms trafficking offenses, the date of the offense, date of the firearm was purchased, and multiple sales, such as recommended multiple sales dates, should be maintained for 5 years to ensure the associated purchaser data can be analyzed. Now, a lot of this stuff, say if someone buys 2 handguns, 3 handguns, there are a lot of times where someone will find a good price on some guns, much like Malinowski was doing, and then buy a couple of guns, sell a couple of guns, This isn't about firearms trafficking. This is about going after people who are doing that very thing. And yes, they're selling guns to improve their own collection. But remember, ATF doesn't like that. Let's see. And I really got to read through this and highlight some stuff versus just kind of going in and let's see. I may keep reading through that, but let's do this so I'm not boring the hell out of everybody, which I probably already am. Let's go ahead and throw this out in chat, open up the floor. If anybody wants to bounce in, hang out for a little bit, that's what we will do. So it's getting crazier and crazier. The ATF is definitely using AI to build cases against FFLs, to build cases against individuals. And really and truly, it's an attempt to basically shut down any FFL that they can possibly go after. And if you are an FFL and you go up against the ATF, from what dead old Buck says, you got about a 50-50 shot of keeping your FFL. And that ain't the greatest numbers, kids. What's up, Warsaw?
Not a whole lot. How are you, man?
Oh, same old same, man. Same old same. Been off for a couple of days. So hanging out with kiddos and doing shit like this.
Yep.
What do you think about all this AI crap popping up with the ATF?
Dude, it's getting out of hand now. Shit, which one was it I was looking at? What's the one that Google has? Fuck, what's that called?
Oh, the Google's AI?
Yeah, but Google has an AI. I forgot what it was called. Shit, what was it? It was
I
on the
forget
commercials.
too.
But no, they actually had to kill it because it actually was going rogue on the system and actually going into the internet files and shit. They actually had to kill the actual AI out there.
Oh, that's hysterical. Hey, man, just get ready to serve your tech overlords. That's all it is. You know, get ready to live in your pod, eat your bugs, shut up, be happy.
Yeah, here comes Skynet 101. That's something I don't want to fucking happen.
It's definitely getting crazier and crazier.
Well, here's a crazy thing too, Coop. All right, we think about robots. I mean, it's already become a thing. We got people that are sick perverts that literally want to have sex with fucking non-human beings. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, what's the old saying? There's a lid for every pot. I wonder if Spartan will actually tell the ATF how many people own dogs so they know whether they get to go in and shoot them.
I mean, how many movies have we have to go over this? All right, it was iRobot. It was then fucking Terminator. What else am I missing?
Oh, Terminator was way before iRobot, man. Come on, you got to mention Terminator first. That was one of the OGs.
Yep. But iRobot was also a big part of it too.
It's getting to the ATF using this stuff. I can understand case management systems and things of that nature. Oh, hey, bring me the root beer and I'll pour some in here.
I mean, shit. Who was the other guy? Jordan Peterson. He was actually covering the AI in Congress, saying this is actually bad, and he referenced those movies and their places.
It's definitely going to be pretty damn horrible. It's going to continue to get horrible. You know, when the ATF is dealing with war game, Fluffy brought up war games. Yeah, that was one of the OGs of it. I'm going to pour in your cup.
Even before that, hell, I mean, you have an iPhone by chance?
Yeah.
Siri,
hey,
that was
go find your straw. Where's the straw?
No, but yeah, that's the original AI.
It's
what's another one? Alexa.
It's amazing the amount of technology that's out there right now, and it's amazing how much we're monitored by it. So, hell, me and my mom were talking about it not too long back. What was it? There was something her and my aunt were talking about when she was staying with my aunt now, and she said she's never searched for this product or anything like that. And within hours, her phone, when she opened up stuff, was basically showing ads for this particular product. And that's happened to me before, talking to my wife about something.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all of a sudden, my social media ads and all that are about this particular thing, even though I've never searched for it.
It was like me. I was talking to my buddy on the phone about the Chinese chest rigs, you know, Chicoms.
Yeah.
And I guess what popped up on his feed on his internet search.
Did it pop up in his feed or just in his searches?
Like it actually was like an email or something, and it was a fucking Chinese Type 63 chest rig. And it popped up, hey, you want to buy one of these?
Yeah. Man, I can't remember what it was about for me, but me and the wife were talking about something, and all of a sudden, like I said, all the suggested ads and everything that were popping up in my feeds was all about this particular item that I'd never searched for before. Never even thought to search for it before. Me and the wife were just talking about it, and boom, all this shit starts popping up.
Fucking artificial intelligence.
It is.
I mean, hell, artificial intelligence. I've even, let's just say that I've heard and seen that actually that they even fucking alter people's photos. You know, Photoshop them, and it was it. Fuck, what was that person's name? Taylor Swift. Her fucking mug was actually put on a fucking porn site.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing shit like that forever with any kind of so-called stars or any kind of famous people, but
Sick, man.
it damn sure is. There's a lot that get used for stuff like that as far as kid stuff, where people are pulling pictures on underage minors and actually using AI to edit that into stuff. And I realize that's off topic from where the whole thing started, but with AI, that's one of the roads that they're going down with this stuff.
I mean, AI is technically going rogue to a certain extent if you allow it. Give it so much power it can.
It's, in a way, it's kind of like, say, training a dog. So you can take two dogs, same breed, same litter, whole 9 yards, have two different people train them. And on one end, you'll end up with a really good dog. And on the other end, you're going to end up with a fucking psychopath.
Yep.
So with AI, it's kind of like who's training it. When they put in, say, the ATF using this to monitor industry and then go after FFLs, it's different when there's a person interacting on these things. But it sounds like with Spartan is actually building the cases for them. And then it just pops up that, hey, this FFL is so much likelihood of us being able to put them out of business. And then they're just cherry picking that shit and running with it.
So, in other words, we're relying on a fucking robot instead of a human being judging a person's case.
Yes.
That is so.
That
fucking
sounds like
stupid.
exactly where that's going.
That's
And again,
so
I got to
fucking
do,
dangerous.
yeah, I got to do a ton more digging on this, but it's definitely scary when you don't have a human there looking at these things. You just have an AI. So any little, and that's how they're going after so many paperwork mistakes, because anytime something pops up, all these documents are being scanned, all these documents are being monitored. Any little paperwork violation is being flagged. In some of the cases, what you're seeing is the data collected. So say someplace around Chicago. Chicago doesn't have a whole lot of gun stores, right? Or is there any left in Chicago? So say the place closest to Chicago is popping for a bunch of different crime guns. What it is that gun store serves an extremely large area. So of course there's going to be a higher proportion of guns that actually go to crimes from that FFL. It's not that the FFL is doing anything illegal. It's not that the FFL knows they're selling guns to people who are going out committing crimes. It's just the fact that they service a very large area. A lot of those guns get stolen, and then a lot of those guns end up in crimes. Well, they're flagging those stores and starting to go after them. A lot of this data they wanted actually publicly released And the reason they want it publicly released is so groups like Giffords, groups like Brady could actually go after individual gun stores and start suing them.
They just hate people in general who love freedom, man. Like, just leave us the fuck alone.
Colt said it won't be long to the judge's AI. Yeah, dude, it wouldn't surprise me at all if you actually had courts that were going that direction where it was AI and actually being the judge in a court. And that's an extremely scary thing when you think about it.
Shit. What's that other movie I saw? You watch Avengers by any chance?
Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah.
Remember Iron Man's robot he was making? What was it? Tron? Was it Tron or what was it?
No, it wasn't Voltron. Yeah.
Voltron.
Was it Voltron or Ultron? Ultron.
Yeah, Ultron. He was actually an AI system that actually was just there to take information. Then it went rogue and actually just violated everything and did whatever the fuck it wanted.
It's with these ATF systems or the systems that they're using now. It's no wonder that all these cases we see such a rise in these cases of revocations and stuff. The more that their AI is actually coming online. And remember, a lot of these things are simple paperwork errors. So someone abbreviates a state, someone abbreviates a city, or they write a county in the wrong spot.
I mean, you could find like a fucking Springfield, Illinois, obviously, but you can find a Springfield in Washington State. I mean, almost every state has a Springfield in some area.
Yeah. Hey, did you find the straw? Can you put the straw back in there and then you can drink it?
Like Springfield, Colorado. I mean,
yeah.
Here's what I don't get. I mean, you're giving this much power to an electronical system. It's coming off like something you see in fucking China, dude. Like, that's something I don't want to see.
Well, dude, it's getting to the point where, you know, we think about the spying that goes on in China. Dude, we are probably spied on as much as them, if not more than them these days. I mean, all of us walk around with our own little spy system in our hands every day. And that phone, and kind of talking about earlier, that phone's always listening. Whether it's shut off or not, it's always listening.
Yeah.
And think about it. You know, new vehicles with GPSs, all that stuff, all the technology. There's nothing you do that the government's not collecting data. And if they're not collecting data directly, well, they just go to third parties and buy your data.
So in other words, you're fucked in the system regardless.
It's definite. To the point, like talking about their system. So they want privately made firearms trackable in this system. And I think what they're doing is they're tracking anything to do with, say, you buy a slide or you buy a barrel or definitely anything you're doing with any company that does 80%, you buy those. Where we know they're tracking if you go buy filament. So I got, 4 rolls of filament in the other day, and of course got the printer. That's enough to put me on another fucking list. So Amazon's turning all that information over to them.
I mean, this crazy shit we're dealing with. What's next? Fucking Ace Hardware?
I wouldn't doubt it. I simply
so you
wouldn't
gotta
doubt
register a fucking screw then.
It's what, buddy? Huh? No, we're not going to Nana's right now.
I think he wants you to lay a golden egg.
My kiddos.
No, but seriously, just thinking about all right, registering the screw like at a store in order to buy it and all that crap.
Well, I mean, you've already got some states, especially, oh God, who was it? Delaware, Massachusetts, and others, where, I mean, if you get a 3D printer, they automatically assume that you are making your own firearms, and they're coming after you. period.
All right, what if I was in the automotive industry and I was just repairing parts that I can't buy and I want a replaceable part?
Oh, you're still on the list. They're going to be monitoring you. I bet money they're going to be monitoring you. There was a guy. He's got a diesel channel, and he ordered a bunch of fuel filters, oil filters, and stuff for his channel. And the ATF showed up on his door and was accusing him of basically producing silence reports. And this dude's ordering all kinds of fuel filters and stuff because his channel is all about diesels. Diesels have tons of different filters on them. And then he was trying out tons of different filters on a truck and on the fuel system and on the oil system. And yeah, ATF shows up on his door. Why are you buying all these filters?
Hey, work in a fucking car factory.
How do you know I'm buying all these filters in the first goddamn place, dickhead? They're filters. But it wouldn't surprise me that that's not part of some of their systems, just flagging every damn thing. John Crump, everybody talked about not too long back, again, with like Amazon. So you buy a printer, you're ordering so much filament. Well, they're turning that over to the ATF. Hey, this person, they bought 4 rolls of filament in the last 2 days.
Okay, all right. If I made a lower out of wood, were you going to track me for that?
It wouldn't surprise me if they did. The way everything's going.
Yeah, well, good luck cutting down a tree and actually tracking that. All right.
It's just, I mean, you could make a pretty easy mold. Matter of fact, I've seen people do it and actually cast lower receivers. I think one guy did it out of brass, another guy did it out of aluminum. Because the molding process, as long as you have an idea of what you're doing, the molding process isn't that hard. But I mean, that's about the only way you could get around some of this. But then again, most people don't have the equipment to manufacture their own barrels and things like that. So anytime you're ordering these parts, that's all being tracked. I will guarantee you the ATF or some government system knows. Like the other day, I got a top rail that's going to go on that set me receiver. I guarantee you that they already know every damn thing I've got. They know the receiver, they know the parts kit, they know the parts that I've ordered for it, and I got no doubt about that.
Yeah, here's the Glock. This guy made one out of wood, and it works. I mean, obviously the slide and the barrel they're probably going to look into, but good luck trying to track the frame though if you're getting out of a piece of lumber in your backyard.
Well, you know, polymer frames and stuff like that. Yeah, the only way you're getting around that is to produce that frame somehow with, say, instead of buying a printer online or even going to the store and paying cash for the printer, which would probably be the best thing to do. You get a printer secondhand from somebody, pay cash for it, no cash, no tracks. But then you still have to feed that printer. So you're still purchasing filament and things like that. So that's being tracked. Definitely, again, getting back to the metal parts on a gun, that's all being tracked. So, and in cases, think about like Dexter Taylor's case. So Dexter Taylor up in New York, if you guys don't know about him, which you guys probably all know about him, but you know, during COVID, he decided he wanted to build some of his own firearms. And he knew he couldn't get a license in New York, but he was buying 80%, then ordering parts from other places. And the ATF's got all that data. They collected all that data. Them in the state raid his house, find out that he had built a certain number of guns, and they treat this dude like an absolute criminal, even though no criminal history, no violent history, all the guns were there. I don't think any of his guns had even really been fired. He just decided he wanted to start building. And right now he's still in prison. His case should go there. I know they're working on the appeals for his case, but he's just won. When I started digging into some of the stuff where people where the state of New York was going after people for building their own guns, they're collecting so much data. And in a lot of cases, I have no doubt they're going to these banks and they're like, hey, we want anybody's records for your products that have ordered from these certain sites. So, which would be any of the gun parts. And that's how they're tracking. So, hold on, Wubs. So, like you bought parts from Apex gun parts or Numeric gun parts, or, they're tracking all that stuff. And when we watched an interview with a guy. Oh man, I can't remember that guy's podcast, but Dexter Taylor's case got kind of mentioned on there. And it was, I think, the AG from New York, someone else, a cop that was dealing with a lot of these things. And they said in there that it really doesn't matter whether they know they're locking up people that aren't criminals, that aren't violent criminals, that aren't selling these guns. It's just the mere fact that they didn't ask the government's permission or get a permission slip from the government to have these guns. They have no problem locking those people up at all. So it's never, they pretty much flat out admit it's never about safety in the community. This is just about the fact you had a gun, they don't like guns, and they're going to lock your ass up. It's this system, getting back to Spartan. They don't care that there was a couple of FFLs that had been in business for decades. And the most they could get them on were a couple of small paperwork violations. But these companies these FFLs end up having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to fight the ATF. And in some cases, it's more worth their while to go out of business. And then we all know, anytime they go out of business, all of their 4473s get sent to the ATF. Those get scanned. And I will guarantee you, even though they say we're not searching these things, they are damn sure searching them. And I think the way, I really think more and more the way they're getting around that is they say they don't have that search function turned on in the PDF, but they feed that shit through Spartan and they can search it in Spartan.
Hold on a second. You know what? I'm going to find that video if I can find it.
Which one?
I'm gonna see if I can find that video. It was where they had fucking documents in their fucking truck trailers, like literally files instead of max in every box you could think of.
Oh, the ATF, yeah, which they've got warehouses full of stuff, but they've been knocking that down. Legally or Langley Outdoors Live. Langley Outdoors is talking about Kamala Harris's VP pick, which John Crump was live earlier talking about this dude. And it is not good, which none of the picks were going to be good. I mean, it doesn't matter. None of their picks were going to be good for anybody who loves freedom or firearms. So whether or not he's one of the more dangerous people to us that they could have picked, he's probably on the upper end of the scale. Night Strike, what's up, brother man?
I'm not drowning yet.
Not yet?
Not yet, but
it's coming.
But well, let me see if I can bring up I took a picture of my backyard. Half of it's flooded. Let me show you this.
Oh God, man,
the hurricane that hit Florida is right over me right now. So
yeah, we got sideswiped by some of it. We didn't catch anything rough from it.
Yeah, no, it's right over us right now. So
yeah, luckily enough, we didn't catch anything heavy from it. We got, I don't know, a couple storms out of it, but nothing massive. It wasn't even enough damn.
And the funny thing is, we've also had micro tornadoes out here too because of the hurricane.
Oh yeah.
So not only are we getting, they say it's a tropical storm, so we're getting a shit ton of flooding. We're also getting, micro tornadoes too, where they come down, pop up, and destroy something, and then disappear.
Let's see.
Don't ask me how that works. It just does.
Man, I've seen some crazy stuff during some of these big storms.
I mean, last night, my power flickered, all night. I almost lost it all. So here.
We
This
had
is-
it. We
this-
had the other day.
This is just a portion of my backyard, but half of it's flooded.
Yeah,
Yeah, and right along the right side, there's a creek that goes all the way down the property, and well, I guess the reason it's flooded is because that's the overflow.
yeah,
So
yeah. That,
So,
that
yeah.
creek on the backside of our place. We've had enough rain a couple times where it flooded well outside of his banks down there.
Found it.
and I saw the VP pick, and it's like, for anyone that didn't think she was going to pick a wrinkly, bald old man, you were wrong. Because she was.
Well, it was definitely coming down to either Shapiro or him. And
Let's not pick the Jewish guy, because then we'll get in trouble with all the left libtards that aren't American that like Palestine.
yeah, and that's what it came down to. And John Crump hit on that this morning.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it came down to. They don't want to piss off the pro-Palestinian
Oh, fucking hell.
factions.
Let's appease a minority of all the Democrats and choose the whitest man we can.
So speaking of which, you've been paying attention to what's been going on out in England by any chance?
Not a whole lot, man. I know they've got a lot of stuff going on in England, the UK right now.
Yeah, because this is what I want to show
Where
you.
it's getting rough.
I'll post it here in the side chat on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I mean, part
Yeah,
of it is, of course,
bring it
they've
up.
just been invaded by an immigrant class that doesn't really like.
That doesn't want to be immigrants.
Yeah,
No,
that
but look at
don't
these.
want to immigrate.
Look what they're doing to these people in England and Ireland, dude. England and Ireland actually literally made an alliance against what this is happening right now.
Well, don't push Ireland too hard, because
They have no choice, dude.
there's a special group in Ireland that would say no.
I know, but they have no choice now. That's right.
I mean, maybe this may be a little before your time, Warsaw, because you're a young
I
shitland.
know about the
You know,
IRA.
But there's this thing called the IRA. They like fouls and AR-18s and blowing up things.
Also, did you
Lots
know
of
that
things.
Lots
you
of
know
things.
the-
Yeah.
Did you know the IRA also supported Gaddafi?
The IRA did a lot of questionable things. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think?
Otherwise, they wouldn't be the IRA.
But what you gotta look at probably with some of that is it's the whole enemy of my enemy's my friend thing.
Yeah.
And the more these governments push people against the wall, the more they're going to find out they're going to end up with some really crazy partnerships that are going to be against them.
Yeah.
I said it in I think Wiretight's chat last night, and to boil the thought down a little bit, but they keep pushing gun owners like this, they're going to wind up uniting the 2A right and gangbangers just to be, pains in the ass against the government.
So
I don't ever think criminals and gun owners would be friends.
I'm telling you, if it is to
dude.
stand up against the government, it will not matter.
Mm.
I'm not.
It's
I don't like
not
the idea
gonna
of
matter.
gangs, dude. I don't like the idea.
Our freaking government will successfully unite the 2A right and all these gangs out there.
If there's a civil war or a revolution, it doesn't matter what you want to define it. If there is a conflict like that, then the definition of crime and crime itself is insignificant to the whole movement.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it'll be. I mean, they're going to turn us into criminals. So if you're going to turn me into criminals,
because they'll say everybody that supports them, whether they just support what they're doing or they agree with what they're doing, everybody will be on that side.
It's
because
gonna be that way.
Because those in power will have a zero tolerance.
You look at just micro sections, much like Dexter Taylor. You're going to throw them in jail just for having guns.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if that happens, then I'm, you know, any laws that are on the books on guns, you know, go out the window because
Yep.
at that point, convert all your semi-autos to full auto and fight the government because otherwise you're gonna be left with nothing.
Yeah,
and you're gonna be in prison.
it's that you know, people have talked about, you know, burying guns and shit like that.
Well, it's time to unbury them.
Yeah, and the couple of guys that I've listened to for years had the perfect saying for it. If it's time to bury them, it's time to dig them up.
Mm.
If it's time to worry that much about them, it is time to dig them up.
Hey, Coop. So can we post that video up? It's the one at the bottom there.
Let's see. Let me do
This
that.
is literally happening in fucking England, dude, in broad daylight, and this is fucking disturbing. I mean, I know we got illegals and got cartels and shit, but when it comes to like thousands, this is something I don't want to ever happen to see in our country.
Well, you're seeing a couple things. You're seeing all the people that want their country free and they want to get rid of the crime. You're seeing all them marching the streets, but you're also seeing groups of the non-immigrant immigrants running the streets in large groups too.
Yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, why can't they be like normal illegal immigrants and just cross the border like the rest of them?
Yeah, because it's not about assimilation to them.
No, but when you got people like this screaming "Allah Akbar," this should really scare the shit out of you.
It shouldn't scare you.
You telling me this one freaking freaked the fuck out of you?
No, because if they feel that strongly, you know, I would take a bunch of people with guns, point them at them, and put them on a fucking boat and send them back over there.
Wiretap, what's up, brother?
Because you know, people like that don't belong in a country that they aren't trying to assimilate into. If you're not going to try and get along with the country you're in, get the fuck out.
Yep. Coop, by the way, you're talking about the FFLs, the forums and all that.
Yeah.
This was, I believe it was on Vice. Second video up there in the YouTube chat. It's the second one, that long link there. That I saw this, and I saw the long process of these ATF agents literally taking file by file, going through each scanner just to get a serial number. It took them hours to even get it. So,
well,
that was before they had the so-called database out there right now.
Yeah, that was probably they were still scanning in, because what the ATF did in a lot of cases is once they got the system up and running, they started optically scanning any new 4473s coming in, and at the same time they're doing that, they're scanning in box by box all the old 4473s that are coming in.
And I want to show you the video of all the documents, because look at the fucking trucks full of these fucking documents, too.
Here,
I mean, compared to the documents back then, I bet your ass we got like triple the size of that, or even more than that.
Well, the ATF, we already know they have over 1 billion records.
I mean, look at this.
This particular firearm, it's an AK-47. A lot of people say this.
Dude, sorry. Gold-plated guns just look fucking shitty to me.
Actually, like a chrome gold plating. It did come out of one of Saddam Hussein's palaces.
Is it just me, or do you kind of want that AK?
Dude, if I had that thing, I would sandblast the finish off of it, parkerize it, and call it a day.
No. I'd keep it and I shoot it as a golden AK just because, you know what? It's an underfolder. I like it. I don't know why I like it, but I like it.
You like it because it's Saddam Hussein's piece?
I can't. Well, I mean, that's the only reason that gun makes any sense is because of historical value. But you know, some soldier fucking went through hell to get that thing back to the States and is probably sitting in Fort Leavenworth because he had a bring back, which is fucking insane. You know, back in the day, World War II, I mean, even all up in
How do you
up into
think? How do you
Vietnam.
think all the Mausers and the
Yeah.
and the Arisakas
There were trophies.
got back to the United States? They were bringbacks. I don't
Yeah.
know why we made that illegal to bring back trophies. In wars we win.
There's no reason, man. There's just not. But
There shouldn't be there shouldn't be a law saying soldiers can't bring back stuff.
The numbers
man, like-
change more than that now.
Yeah, it's more than that.
Oh yeah, we're well over 400 million guns in the United States right now.
I think we're closer to 6.
More than likely. Let's see. Let me scoot through this a little bit.
Look at the fucking files, man. There's fucking piles of files, man.
Yeah. Well, that's because any FFL that goes out of business has to send in all their stuff to the ATF. So that's just stacks and stacks of 4473s, which are then getting optically scanned, and that's where they're getting all their information from.
Hold on a minute. Fluffy Bunny Arsenal has something important to say. He said, "Gold-plated is okay, but engraved gold-plated, chef's kiss." Fluffy Bunny, you're speaking my language, man. We're on the same wavelength.
Okay, the only way you could make that gold-plated hunk of junk actually look like something is to send it to Frag Out and have Frag Out laser engrave that entire goddamn thing. And then it would be pretty sexy.
I could have Frag Out do it, but I also know other people with lasers too, like Mr. Snow.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Snow has a laser. You've seen it. I have. It's nice.
Dude, eventually I will have one.
Eventually I'll have one too. Right now, all I have is a mini CNC right now. All I've got is a ghost cutter.
Going out of business.
And of course, they're just showing the boxes and boxes and boxes of records.
It's not showing on the screen, by the way, Coop. Like it's lagging a bit.
Yeah, it's lagging quite a bit. Lagging more than normal, actually, which is pretty damn bad.
Look at these boxes full of fucking files, man.
Yeah, okay, now it's showing up. But yeah, so I'm not going to be able to run any decent video right now. But yeah, this is all the stuff. All they're doing is they're feeding that into their system. And if you haven't seen it, it reminds me of a mail distribution or a mail sorting system. When they're feeding these things into trays, it's just kicking these things piece by piece through that scanner. And of course, they're all getting scanned electronically. That's one of the reasons the ATF has changed the 4473 to where all the pertinent information to the firearm is on a single page. So once they scan that first page, once they take a picture of that first page, then they have all the pertinent information for it. And I'm telling you, they can lie about not searching that database all they want. They don't have the search function turned on in the PDF forms, but they got the AI system that's doing it for them. So,
which again, AI can also go rogue on you if wanted to.
Well, I mean, it definitely could, but again, that kind of depends on who's programming for that AI, who's setting the parameters for it. So with them, they're keeping it kind of tied into their own needs at this time.
Yep.
But that's another way that they're, because let's say these industry officers come into an FFL, they are taking pictures and they are scanning the 4473s in current businesses. And that's all going into this damn horseshit AI program that they've got.
Yeah, keep this video on file, Coop, because until you get your feed better, I like to show the people like what they actually are doing.
Oh, this, I'll guarantee you it looks a whole lot different now, because all these records are getting scanned. So, and it wouldn't take, with their system, I'll guarantee them, it wouldn't take long to get every 4473 and all those boxes you see on screen actually scanned in and searchable. The only thing with old 4473s is they've got to work that scanning a little bit different, because they can't just scan the first page of it. I think they've got to scan the first page and like the third page of it, depending on how it's done. It's been a long time since I've filled out the old 4473. The last couple transfers I've done have all been on the new 4473s. So,
yep.
it is. It's definite that, you know, the more they get Spartan up off the ground, the more we're going to see more and more FFLs actually getting shut down. And it's all part of the plan. And as soon as they shut an FFL down and they get those 4473s, those 44 are scanned and then they're searchable. So that billion records that they have right now, that number is just going to continue to grow.
Yeah, they probably have some of my stuff from the cheap guns I bought at Walmart.
No doubt.
But again, you know, it was a break open single shot shotgun for $99 and a 22 semi-auto for $99. I mean, at those prices, I couldn't say no.
Nope.
The vast majority of their records that they have are just a registry. They don't care about what happened to a gun. It's just
two of them. Data. But again, if you're worried about the government having your information, well, I got news for you. Who do you think issued your social security number?
Mm-hmm.
The government.
You know, who do you pay your taxes to? The government.
Yep.
So if you don't think the government doesn't have your social security number, your name, your address, and your telephone number, well, if you don't pay taxes, they don't. But if you do, hell, they got all your information anyway. So what does it matter whether they have your 4473 or not?
If you have a bank account,
they know where your house is.
Yeah. If you have a bank account, they have access to every bit of your financial information.
Well, everybody's got a bank account these days. Because for some situations, you're required to have a bank account to get a house or loan.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just like, you know, these are things that we have to have. And if you don't think the government doesn't know you're there, well, I got news for you. You got another thing coming.
Unless you're an illegal immigrant, they know you.
No. Even if you are an illegal immigrant, they still know you because they saw you crossing the border.
In some cases, no.
Yeah. Well, that's only in the California area.
In a lot of cases, they have no goddamn idea who's crossed that border. None.
Well, yeah, I know, but they saw them crossing the border. They got video. That's about it. That's about all I got.
They spend so much time monitoring everything that we do. It's just unreal.
Yeah, that's another thing. For people so paranoid about the government and whatnot. By the way, if you own a cell phone, the government is recording everything you say on the cell phone to anybody else in the country. So congratulations. You're already being wiretapped nationally by the government.
They admitted, and I'd have to go back and find this hearing again, but I mean they pretty much had to admit that the NSA is collecting every bit of electronic traffic in the United States. Period. Every single bit. So anything you say on a phone, anywhere your phone's been, any text message you've ever sent, that's all being collected. How do you think they go back through the FISA stuff and then go back in and track information?
Yeah.
Because they've already got it.
Yeah. So don't be paranoid about the government. And Yeah, well, it sucks that they get 4473s, but if you buy a new gun from an FFL, if you buy a gun at a gun show, more often than not, you have to fill out a 4473 unless it's a private sale. And you know what? That's unfortunately that is the devil we know that we have to live with.
Brother Zany, what's up? Zany was saying, I know a guy who was going to jail, and 2 weeks before the cops told him to turn in his shotgun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are cases, and I'd have to go dig into some of these, where, say in New York, a registered gun owner passes away, and instead of that gun basically going to his estate and going to a loved one, the state of New York actually goes in and picks that gun up. And then it's property of the state after that. It is.
It's
yeah,
like that. Coop,
I know.
Remember that Scrimgewehr that was captured back in Massachusetts back in 2013?
Was that the one that went to the gun buyback?
No, it was taken to be shredded, and it was actually an old woman. Her husband was a World War II vet that brought him back into the States. And the police literally said, ma'am, do you realize what the fuck you got here?
Yeah.
Do you have any paperwork for this? She's like, no, my husband brought it back from the war.
They actually,
They're about to shred the thing.
Yeah, if I'm remembering the case right,
they told her to go donate it to a museum.
Yeah, a couple of the officers actually knew what it was. She was able to prove providence on it, that her husband had brought that back, and I think she actually got paid a decent sum of money for it.
Yeah, but they told her to donate it to a museum because it is a piece of history, and taking it to a gun buyback will only get it destroyed.
Yeah, I mean they actually stopped the destruction of the gun. So good on those cops.
Yeah. Well, it's good to know that at least some of them understand the historical importance of some of these firearms.
Yes. And like I said, I think that lady, she did end up getting paid a decent sum for that gun, because they were able to prove providence on it. So it actually was able to go into the
historical.
It was historical, but it was actually able to become transferable, is where I was going with it.
Right.
So once they proved providence with it, they were able to put it on the NFA registry as transferable. And because and some of these cops, once they saw that thing, just would have locked her little 80-year-old ass up.
Right.
And then just not say a word about it.
It was either Massachusetts or Maryland. I forget which one it was, but yeah.
You didn't realize the government could take property without compensation. Yes, they can, Matt. And they do it constantly.
They can. The police do it all the time. It's called search and seizure.
Well, civil asset forfeiture would be another one.
Well, that too. Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've done a show on that. Maybe we need to revisit that topic. But
I mean, Coop, it's not just money. How about the case in Georgia, man? I still cannot forget that, man.
With the kids?
Yeah.
Right.
And holy shit, man, the state was literally just pushing the kids away from their parents after they got, rehabilitated.
Dude, that's happening with kids these days, where say the parents don't want their kids transitioned.
Okay.
And
I got to jump out. The backyard's getting worse.
Well,
I may have to put some sandbags down. Okay.
Yeah. Don't float away, man.
I'll see you guys in a bit.
Go build an ark.
I've already got one. So instead of Noah's Ark, it's Night Strike's Ark.
Yeah. All right. Well, be careful, brother.
But yeah, that after hearing that oral argument, I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta send this to Coop," and he had the same reaction like I did.
It's insane. But like I said, there's cases in a couple of different states right now where parents didn't want their children transitioned, and the state's coming in and taking their kids.
Well, it's like what happened with what was it, Elon Musk? His son was manipulated into being transitioned because his dad was fucking literally manipulated.
Oh, I knew what you were doing, Matt. I mean, it's our Constitution hasn't mattered to our government in a very, 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 very long time. There's so much just absolutely unconstitutional shit that they do, and they get away with it. And they'll have leftist courts absolutely uphold this shit. That's one of the biggest things that I worry about really coming with this next election cycle is if leftists, keep the White House, they gain houses gain seats in the House and then gain seats in the Senate, then, and there's a big push, and we talked about it the other night, big push to pack the court to go ahead and add on 4 or 5 new justices and just swing the court to the left. And I promise you, if they do that, if we thought Chevron was bad, we are going to have worse decisions than Chevron. If we thought some of these gun bans and stuff we've been waiting on forever to go to the court will snatch those things up, and they are just going to say, yep, these are all constitutional. And it's going to get a hell of a lot worse. All right, not to mention the fact that Joe Biden has put last time I went and looked, it was like 150 judges on the circuit and district courts, and all of them are anti-gun. I mean, basically their requirements to go on the court is you're a leftist and you're a judge.
I was going to ask you, Coop, since we're on the subject matter of judges, what's your take on Justice? What's his name? Let me look right here. Gorsuch. Yep, Gorsuch.
I think Gorsuch can be good on some things and maybe not so great on others.
I watched a video actually on him, and he's exactly what we need, actually, I think, because he actually did a video with Fox News. I'll let you talk kids for a second.
It's Gorsuch, I think, has been pretty good on most things. They were
here. There's a Fox video. Gave it to you.
I can't remember which case it was.
Yeah, but this video, I was like, no, this is exactly what we need. I mean, not the person, but exactly what we're thinking. Like, too many regulations, too many fucking laws, too many, problems with too much red tape.
Yeah, well, there's he was talking questioning during the oral arguments one time, questioning one of the state lawyers or government lawyers about rule changes, and he was talking about the federal registry, and he was basically saying, your average citizen's not sitting around in the evenings reading the federal registry to see what rule changes are coming down the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not.
And the average person makes how many felonies a day that they don't even know or aware of?
Well, there was the book. It was 3 felonies a day, and basically there are so many laws, criminal laws on the books right now, or laws and regulations that have criminal penalties to them that no one can keep up with them. Nobody can actually quantify them. So the premise of the book is your average person out there, and this is, again, it's an average, but it was like there were 3 separate felonies a day, or 3 things they were doing that could be charged as felonies.
Mm-hmm.
That they just had no idea about.
And Justice Gershwitz was just mentioning that in this video on Fox News. If you want to pull it up, you could.
Well, my freaking
why surface?
Yeah, my damn signal right now is being a pain in the ass more than normal, probably because it's earlier in the day and everybody's doing shit. But
at least you're not freezing, though. You gotta give props to that.
Yeah, as long as I'm not trying to stream video, everything looks like it goes decently smooth. But what, Cass?
Your kids.
What, baby? Today is Tuesday, baby. It's the 6th.
The 6th of August. Oh, and don't forget, Coop, we got September 16th coming up. Man, that's what I'm looking forward to. Hell yeah.
Well, that's McGlynn, right?
Yep, and just around the corner. Just give it a couple more weeks. We'll be getting down there.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch. Hopefully, I don't know, anything that we can kind of stream from stuff like that, we're definitely going to look at it.
Oh, apart from that, before we reach that, we got to find that New Jersey case. If there's any oral arguments that was recently on the New Jersey assault weapons ban, we got to find an audio room hearing that was made on that decision.
I am pretty sure we streamed those.
Like earlier before that decision.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we streamed those oral arguments. So
New Jersey, out of all fucking places of the 13 original colonies, that had to be New Jersey. And New Jersey, like what? It's a little island right next to New York. Yeah, it is. It's right next to New York.
So it was Cheeseman. I think Cheeseman and Platkin were part of that. And I am pretty sure, decently sure, we actually streamed those oral arguments. But like I told you, now that we've got the decision, it would be cool to go back and actually stream those again. So, when were the actual?
It was like 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, I know the decision came out 3 or 4 days ago, but I was trying to look to see
the previous case before that
when the actual oral arguments were. Because I want to say that was a consolidated case. There were a few different cases that were added into that. Cheeseman was one, but there were a couple of others. And I'm relatively sure that was one of the sets of oral arguments that we streamed. I'm not seeing. Let me see. Let me try to look one other way real fast. I may have to just wait till later when I can actually take the time to dig these back up.
Yeah, that's no problem, man.
But again, it would be cool to go back in and listen to these now that we have the actual decision.
I mean, what was the case? What was it? New Jersey versus was it Platkin?
Yeah, it was well, one of the cases it was rolled into that was Cheeseman versus Platkin. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back in later and see if I can dig that whole thing up. But that was one of the cases. I think there were 3 different cases that were rolled up.
It was, yeah.
In that assault weapons ban case, because I think they rolled in not only the assault weapons ban, but they actually rolled in the
magazine ban.
Yeah, the mag ban to it. It may have been there were a couple cases for the assault weapons ban itself and a case for the mag ban, and they rolled all that into a consolidated case.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the judge kind of split the baby. It was like, look, you can't ban the assault weapons, but you can ban the magazines, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous, but okay.
It's still going to appeal on that decision basis.
Oh, it's definitely going to keep working its way through. Again, the biggest thing that worries me is if the actual Supreme Court flips and goes left, they're going to snatch up all of these cases that we've been waiting to run their way through the courts. They're going to snatch up all of them.
Well, and they're trying to get rid of Clarence Thomas. Good luck with that. They're going to stay in there until this presidency is not changed out.
Oh man, if you ended up with Democrats gaining control of the Senate, keeping control of the White House, and then gaining some seats in the House, they'll definitely pack the court. So it really wouldn't matter that Clarence Thomas is there in the first place. They will either find a way to push some of these judges out, or they will pack the court. One of the two, because they want the court back. And anytime the court swings to the left, they go completely activist with shit. And it's how you end up with decisions like Roe versus Wade, where they say that they threw the right to privacy and 9 other things in the Constitution, then they find a right to abortion. It's the reason that the 1934 NFA could even exist, because the court went so far left when it came to the Interstate Commerce Clause that the court basically said, well, yeah, the government can do all these things because it involves interstate commerce, and the government can regulate interstate commerce. Even if you're doing something that has never moved in interstate commerce, somehow is affecting interstate commerce, so they get to regulate it. And it kind of sticks that a lot of people don't realize that most of our gun control is all based on the court's interpretation of the power under the Interstate Commerce Clause. That's why most gun control laws, if you read them, it mentions interstate or foreign commerce, because that's what they're basing their authority on to even try to push these laws. And it just, I don't know, it keeps getting dumber and dumber. It's a real worry coming up that it's going to continue to get dumber. Let's see, there was a hold on, let me read something real quick. Because this is about the actual Crime Gun Tracing Center.
Hey, I got to hop off, but hey, thanks for the invite, Coop.
Yeah, man.
And we'll see if I'll definitely be up to hearing that New Jersey case, man.
Yeah, I'll see what I can dig up on next, because I wouldn't mind streaming those oral arguments again. Like I said, now that we have the decision, and then you can kind of match up the decision the judge came up with versus the arguments that were made. So that'll be interesting to go back into. So yeah, there's a couple things here. It's the OB records. Let me look. Let me share this for a sec while I'm trying to read this again. This is getting back to the government's use of Spartan, their little AI system. between 2021. So OOB records were used to complete 53%. So 4 million, a little over 4 million trace requests of the 7.5 million, a little over 7.5 million crime gun trace requests submitted to a purchaser. Majority of OOB records are available only as paper. The lack of digital records makes crime gun tracing a time-consuming effort and delays generation of leads. ATF should explore digitizing the acquisition portion of FFL OOB records, which we know they're doing, and optically scanning everything. So the OOB acquisition records should be scanned and searchable by firearm description only, which we know that they're searching more than just that. At no time would this include cataloging personal information, which is bullshit because this AI system is definitely pulling that. And they might tell you that, oh, we can't search these by name or social security number or all this horse shit, but you know, all they got to do is put Spartan on the case and have Spartan search all of it. And then the increased focus on privately made firearms. Some 37,980 privately made firearms. Domestic trace requests were submitted to the ATF between 2017 and 2021. Crime guns recovered and traced within the United States and its territories. So this is where they're talking about their enhanced focus on actually privately made firearms. And again, when they're talking about search a gun by description, well, if they can write the relevant information on guns that people are building into this system, they can search it by those characteristics. So listen to this. So the combined total of machine gun conversion and silencer parts recovered by the ATF increased almost 255% between 2012 and 2016, and the period 2017 to 2021. Look at this, silencer parts. So guess what they did around that time? You guys remember fluid traps? All the stuff with diversified machine. I will guarantee you that's where that number comes from. Let's see, ATF should enhance e-trace and their internal case management system, e.g. Enforce Spartan, to include a broader array of PMF characteristic descriptions that can be found to track various types of recovered PMFs and develop detailed strategic tactical intelligence. These improvements should be undertaken with all the stakeholders across the various directorates of in the ATF. So any development items and descriptors are acceptable and compatible with all ATF systems uniformly and policies and procedures as appropriate. So again, and getting back to Spartan itself, I mean, they are developing databases on how they can actually track privately made firearms. What's up, bro? New here. What's going on, John? Nice to see you if you're new. So we hit tons of stuff coming in, but you know, starting the stream today, we were talking about Spartan, the AI program that the ATF is using, and how they're using that to track every damn thing. Chessboard, my brother. What's going on? So it's I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of other people talking about this AI that the ATF is using right now and how this thing is being used. I do expect as this system expands to see more FFLs run out of business, and that is exactly what they want to see happen. So small paperwork mistakes, abbreviations, misspelled words, that kind of shit is the kind of stuff that they are just putting FFLs through the ringer over and trying to push them out of business. And as they talk about, or we've seen Dettelbach talk about, where they can't search these, all these 4473s and all that by, say, social security number, person, whatever. I'm getting to the point, especially the more I look into Spartan, that no, there's not a human going in and doing a lot of this. They just turn it over to the AI. Hey, AI, we want you to look through all these records using these search terms, name, social security number, whatever, and then that system just starts kicking all this information back to them and actually building cases for them. So, as usual, our government's up to a whole lot of dirty shit. And I'd love to see someone who's more on the tech end of things, who digs into the way Spartan's used and then put out some more based information on it, because I'm just hitting the surface on this shit. I'm not a tech dude. Do I understand how it could be used? How bad it could be? Yes. Do I think it's getting used that way? Oh, I absolutely do. When they're talking about, privately made firearms, and they're just adding in characteristics of these privately made firearms into the system, and then all of this is searchable by characteristics. So with this AI system, so like my carry gun, which is a polymer 80 that I built, that I love this thing. But they could go in and literally take the characteristics from the frame, the slide, the sights, barrel, all that, and put it into that system. And then all of a sudden, this thing might not have a serial number on it, but it's searchable by all the characteristics. Could that return multiples? Yes. But if they limit the searches to me, it's going to return that gun. Ta-da! Because they already know the purchases. Anything that you've done that wasn't cash in person in a fucking back alley, they know about. They will search. They will get information from the banks. And we've seen cases where they've done that, where they just, and it's not even under a warrant. They just ask the bank, hey, can you dig up this information? Here are the guidelines for it. These companies, if any money's been spent with them, going to or from these states, whatever, and the banks will just hand them that information, because the banks don't want to get in trouble with the government. They don't want the government in their back pocket, at least any more than they already are. I'm sorry, I heard something from my printer. I had to go around and look. So, again, things keep getting crazier and crazier. And I don't see it getting a whole lot better anytime soon. I wonder if I could get with Crump on this, Crump and Rich and the guys, if they even think this would be worth kind of digging into. Who knows? I might have to call or message Rich or email Crump and kind of throw this in their lap and say, hey, is this worth looking into? Worth reporting on, something like that, and maybe drum up a little bit more kind of information on it, because they're the tech dudes. They're the ones who understand all the freaking different programs and how this stuff would actually run. I do find it funny that having an iced coffee now. Yeah, I had to switch from coffee and drink something cold too. But I do find it funny that this program will apparently go in and put together the legal justification. Crump probably already is. They had no doubt. Crump and the guys tend to stay on top of a lot of this stuff. But I guess part of the reason this stuck with me, so in this hearing 2 months ago, when this guy's questioning Dettelbach and actually mentioned Spartan, that more people weren't jumping up and looking at that going, hey, wait a second. The ATF is actually using this AI. They started using this AI, actually brought it online at such and such time. And now we're seeing all these revocations. Maybe that's worth a little bit of a look. It surprised me that a lot of guys that we all follow didn't kind of pile onto that and actually want to dig into it a little more. Or who knows? Maybe they are. Maybe they've been digging into it and they're just kind of, I don't know, building the case. I don't know. But just looking at the overall, just top level information that my little tail can find on this program, it's the more I read about it, the nastier it looks. Oh yeah, Vanessa, they'll definitely use eminent domain to take your shit. It's extremely hard to fight. There's multiple ways, whether it's eminent domain, civil asset forfeiture, you name it. I mean, the government finds plenty of ways to go in and take your shit without actually accusing you of a crime, convicting you of a crime, or anything. They just decide they have better uses for said property and they get to take it. This whole thing with the ATF and Spartan and digging more and more into the way Spartan's getting used, this isn't about keeping people safe. They're simply going after any FFL that they can possibly go after. They shut down the FFL, they collect records go into their database, and they're just building the database. And as they're going, shutting down more and more FFLs because they don't like firearms. They don't want firearms in private hands. And anything they can do to kind of screw people over on that, they're going to do. Live across the street, they use eminent domain against sixth generation. Yeah, I can see that. Hell, when the Olympics came to Atlanta years ago, there was a family who owned a pretty large piece of property. It was their dream property. The Olympics wanted to hold the equestrian events up there, so they used eminent domain, took those people's property, and that's where the equestrian events were held. So just for the Olympics alone, they eminent domain took those people's property, and I never really heard what happened to that after everything was said and done. And those people did not get fair market for that home or for that piece of property. They just got plowed under. And that's, I remember parts of the case. What the hell am I here? Oh, hold on, guys. I gotta fix something. Oh, that's so not cool. I thought I heard something crazy in the background and my printer was having an issue. So I'm going to have to reprint part of that. Printed everything else, though. Looked like the fan shroud on my printer decided to fall off for some reason, and it just started killing everything. Fun. But printed out a couple of Armorer's blocks. And then it decided to go crazy. So there's that. Talking about AI, and now my printer decides to go all wild. Haha, go figure. It's the robots, man. They're coming to get us all. NASCAR track near Fort Worth. Same BS, yeah. It gets used all the time like that, Vanessa. The government has zero problems going in and taking people's shit or destroying people's lives. This entire thing with Spartan, again, more and more I read this, the crazier and crazier this starts looking. That I mean, not only do you have to deal with the ATF and all their damn glory, but now they've got this program that can run around and basically just pull every bit of information, pull it together, hand it over to a person. That person can then go in and destroy an FFL. I wonder, because that in that hearing, that's the only time that I heard anything about the use of Spartan. And I only heard that one congressman mention it. It wasn't this one. Just looking up, there was another hearing, another weaponization hearing I wanted to look at something on, and I trying to find it, and I don't know what I've done with it. Let's look at something. This was back. I wonder if I can find an updated version of this document. Yeah, I didn't realize that. So ATF operates a total of 25 domestic field divisions, maintains a presence in 12 international offices in 8 countries. See, this is from 2020. I'd like to find this documented updated for the 24. So I'd like to see how these numbers changed going from 2020 to 2024. And I'd like to see what was actually included in some of this. Because that was their budget request for 20. And it's I don't know, it's funny to me that even searching for this for ATF/Spartan or ATF Spartan AI, that there's not more information out there on this. Let's see something. No, shit, that's freaking 2018. That's not anywhere near. What I was looking for. Pega is probably part of the system involved with Spartan. Or was Pega the legacy? Pega might have been the legacy system that they were actually replacing with Spartan, I think. Maybe that was it. Yes, that's budget submission for 18. Just a sec, guys. Let me look at this for just another second, and then I'll flip back over. Hell, I might get out of here in a minute. We'll see. See, that was this was some presentation back in 22. Oh my God, man. Hold on. I haven't read this yet, but I'm going to share this because just damn. So, like I said, I haven't read through this yet, But look at the first page. So lessons learned from IT modernization and transformation. They literally list these people's pronouns on the first page of this. Mason McDaniel, he, him, Chief Technology Officer, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Well, this AWS, I think, is one of their kind of management data systems, but or who's managing it for them, some shit like that. So I don't know. I have to dig through this and see whether we can find out a little bit more about Spartan from this one. But as usual, our good old government. Like, you know, putting everybody through a PowerPoint, I'd like to figure out what exactly everything in that PowerPoint is before I put everybody through that fucking little slice of hell. Judging by the fact they got pronouns listed on the first page of it, it's definitely going to be a little slice of hell. So, I don't know. I'll tell you what, guys, since we talked about AI and I've kind of showed you some of the research I'm looking at right now, some of the topics. I think I can go ahead and shut this one down for now. And then who knows? I could start something up later talking about a completely other subject, but I don't want to cloud this one up too much. So anyway, guys, let me get out of here, guys. I'll let you guys get out of here. We'll go hang out, see who else is talking about what. And who knows? We might start something up later. Just some of it might depend on how much more I can dig up on this, on Spartan. So we'll see. Anyway, you perps be cool. Keep that thing on at all times. Let's get out of here, and we'll see you guys probably in some chats and stuff here in a little while. Later, guys.